Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that many men think about, but few truly understand: the dark psychology behind going zero contact with women. Whether you've just been through a breakup, you're caught in a confusing situationship, or you're feeling emotionally drained by a toxic dynamic, deciding to go no contact isn't just some passive move. It's not about ghosting. It's not about being cold. It's a deeply psychological act of reclaiming your emotional space, your power, and your peace. In this video, we're breaking down the emotional and mental transformation that happens when you go no contact, why it works, what challenges come with it, and how it builds you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about games. This is about growth. Lesson 1. Reclaiming self-control and inner power. Let's get real. When emotions run high, logic takes a back seat. After a breakup or emotional fallout, your brain goes into panic mode. You want to fix things. You want to reach out. You want answers. But going zero contact puts all of that on pause. It forces you to disconnect from the chaos and reconnect with yourself. Every time you feel the urge to text her, to check her social media, or to accidentally bump into her, you're facing a critical choice. Do you give in to the emotional impulse, or do you rise above it? This is where the psychology kicks in. You see, every time you resist the urge, you're building something far more valuable than temporary comfort. You're building emotional strength. You're training your mind to stay grounded, no matter how stormy things get. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. James Allen. Going no contact isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's the decision to master your thoughts, to regulate your emotional state, and to take control of your actions, no matter what your heart is screaming at you to do. This is your first taste of power, not over her, but over yourself. Lesson 2. Facing reality without illusion. One of the hardest parts of going zero contact is accepting what's really going on. Let's be honest, most people don't want the truth. They want reassurance. They want a fantasy. They want hope that things can go back to the way they were. But zero contact cuts through the illusion. It says, this is what it is. No more sugarcoating. No more wishful thinking. And that is incredibly uncomfortable. But it's also the first step toward genuine healing. Acceptance is the first step to freedom. When you stop trying to rewrite the past or bargain with the future, you begin to live in the present. You stop asking questions like, what if? Or, why did this happen? And start asking, what's next for me? You're no longer trying to fix something broken. You're choosing to move forward. Going no contact forces you to detach from emotional dependence, from fantasy, from denial, and instead confront the raw, unfiltered truth. And in that truth, you find peace. Not instantly, not easily, but gradually, as you start letting go of what never served you in the first place. Lesson 3. Resisting the emotional tests. Here's the thing most people don't talk about. Once you go no contact, you're going to be tested. Maybe she texts you after days or weeks of silence. Maybe she suddenly views your stories, likes your old posts, or sends a, hey, how have you been? Even worse, maybe your own mind starts playing tricks on you. Was I too harsh? Maybe she's waiting for me to reach out. She probably thinks I don't care. These are emotional traps, plain and simple. Your brain is wired to seek resolution, but sometimes there is no perfect resolution, just healing. The real test of zero contact is this. Can you stay grounded when the emotional waves come crashing in? It's not about being cold-hearted. It's about protecting your peace. It's about proving to yourself that you can stick to your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you feel tempted to fold. True strength is staying calm in situations where you once would have broken. Every time you pass one of these emotional tests, you build a deeper level of confidence. You're no longer reacting out of fear, guilt, or insecurity. You're responding with clarity and strength. You're no longer a slave to your emotions. You're in control now. Lesson 4. Escaping the guilt loop. Let's talk about guilt. That voice in your head that whispers, "You're being unfair. You're hurting her. Maybe you should explain yourself." This guilt doesn't come from clarity. It comes from old emotional programming. Especially if you're someone who's always tried to be the nice guy or avoid conflict, guilt can become your prison. But here's the truth. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Guilt often shows up when you're finally breaking patterns that no longer serve you. That discomfort, it's part of growth. You're stepping out of old roles, letting go of people-pleasing, and learning that you don't owe access to your peace to anyone who disrupted it. Zero contact doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about your well-being to stop sacrificing it. Let that guilt go. What you're doing is not cruel, it's courageous. Lesson 5. Rebuilding identity and self-respect. One of the most underrated parts of going no contact is what it reveals about you. When you're in a relationship, or even just emotionally entangled, you sometimes lose pieces of yourself. You compromise. You adapt. You tolerate things that slowly wear you down. But silence has a way of reminding you who you really are. You begin to ask, who am I without this person? What do I want moving forward? What did I ignore in myself to keep this going? No contact gives you space to rebuild your identity, piece by piece. And with every boundary you enforce, with every emotion you process without external validation, you become a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. Your self-worth begins to rise, not because someone told you you're valuable, but because you finally believe it. Lesson 6. Developing emotional discipline for life. Here's the long-term reward of going no contact: emotional discipline. You start noticing the same strength in other areas of your life. You no longer chase what isn't chasing you. You stop trying to force connections. You let go of people who drain your energy. You realize that sometimes walking away is not a loss, it's a power move. That kind of discipline bleeds into everything. You communicate better. You set healthier boundaries. You don't crumble when people disappoint you, because you've been through the emotional fire and you came out stronger. Zero contact isn't a breakup tactic, it's a life skill. Going no contact is hard. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. But it's also one of the most powerful decisions you can make for your emotional health. You're not just stepping away from someone else. You're stepping into a new version of you, one that values peace over chaos, self-respect over validation, growth over comfort. So if you're struggling with this choice, remember, you're not running away. You're rising above. And sometimes silence isn't a void. It's where the healing begins. If this video spoke to you, drop a comment and let me know your thoughts or your experience with going zero contact. Hit the like button if you're on a journey of emotional growth. And if you're ready to keep building that inner strength, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. You've got this. Stay grounded, stay focused, and remember, your peace is power.